Yo, morning, welcome to the channel, and today I'm going to show you a really quick and simple way of installing a new outside socket onto the back of this building, this project that we're doing. So this is the garage conversion job, and now we need to get some outdoor power. So naturally it is raining, why wouldn't it be? So on the other side of here we've got the lounge and we've got a single socket here, and we've just drilled through, but the client doesn't want the socket on here, he actually wants it on this face, because this unit here actually sits back. So I'm going to show you how to install that weatherproof socket down there the easy way. Because it is hammering it down, we're going to try and get on with this as fast as we possibly can. I've got Jack with me. He is running around grabbing bits and bobs. So like I say, we've already drilled through the wall. It's got a 300mm actual wall. So you've got 100mm for your brickwork, 100mm cavity, and then you've got 100mm for the outside skin. As it's hammering it down, we're going to quickly rattle through the job. So we're going to be installing some 20mm conduit, which is This is going to make our life a lot easier, which is going to allow us to extend the cable round, coming from that exterior wall to come round in a neat fashion. So first things first, we're going to get our end box on. Now it's really important for our end box back to make sure that you've got your weatherproof seals on it. So our end box, we've drilled through our 20mm hole at the back, which we will then seal up. But we've also got the lid with the actual rubber gasket as well, because without that, it doesn't have any waterproofing properties whatsoever. So we're now going to mount this up on there and start feeding our way back round. So tools you're going to need STS, you're going to need a screw gun, hammer, and you're also going to need some conduit bending material as well. I don't know why I say material, I meant spring. So you're going to need this spring as well, so I'll show you how to bend that. But soaking now, need to get on with the job. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please make sure you do. And most importantly, thank you very much for clicking on to watch this video. Out of the millions and millions of other options you had, you chose mine, so thank you very much. And make sure you join the community, and we'll share as electricians some of the tips that what we do day in, day out, and we take it for granted, and we're going to share them for you guys. So thank you very much. So we've already drilled through and we've got our Fisher fixings on there. So that is the best way I find. The Fisher fixings are the duo powers, I believe, and they are the strongest fixings I've found to do the job. So that fixed on there, what we now need to do is then bend our conduit to come round, so we know where we're looking at. So let's get that conduit bent. We're going to put some saddles in. So I'm going to put one here, and then your actual socket itself is going to be more of this end. Okay, so cutting conduit, you can do it in multiple ways. This is probably one of the cleanest ways, but obviously this one of the slowest. So I've got a pipe cutter here, and you just spin it all the way around, tighten it up slightly as you go, and it will chop it through. Now you can use one where you just cut it, which is faster, but it's in the van and I can't be bothered to go and get it, so I've got this out, so I'm going to use this. So now we're going to get on to forming the actual conduit. Now top tip for this coming in, top tip is, because it is cold, and I mean cold today, we need to make sure that this is actually warm, because if it doesn't stay warm, quite often they will split, and that'll be no good. So on the conduit spring, you'll notice that I've got a bit of wire on there, and the reason behind that wire is for one job and one job alone. So if you had a long length of conduit and you wanted to put a bend in the middle, you need to put your spring in with it tied on the end. So once you've bent it, you can then pull it back out. It's nothing more rocket science than that. So we're going to pretty much put that in there. So if you're going to measure it out, you go, right, okay, I'm going to put it in to about that end, bend that over so you know that's how far it wants to sit, like that. And then you've got a straight position, but we don't need to worry too much about that right now because it's only such a short length. Okay, so warming that up. Looks a bit rude. You know what I'm saying. So put a bit of heat in it. Use your knee and slowly form it round. But because it's so cold, it's not great. It's not that happy. So if you went bang and did it really quick, it would split and tear, and that wouldn't be very good. So we need to put a 90 in. So you want to go past 90, as you can see. So then when it straightens out, it should sit at 90 degrees. So let's measure it up and make sure we haven't overcooked it. So we want that tight into the corner. Then we just need to put a mark on, which is going to be there. And then we can cut that through. Right, let's cut that. If you can see how, because it's so cold, it started trying to open up. It's not a good sign, is it? So hopefully I can sort of sneak that back. If not, I'll have to redo it. So with our socket here, so we've got our coupler on here, so we're going to tuck it more this end because the client wants to be able to just reach his hand in and fix it up. So we need to drill these out, level it up, and then we can mount that. But we're going to push it further this way to make sure that it tucks that back into the corner as much as possible without creasing it. So I'm going to go get the level, drill these holes out and get that fitted up. Okay, so now we've got to use our 2.5mm cable because it's a spur off the back of this socket. So I've got a ring final in here and with no spur in it, so we can now spur off one more. So we're going to feed this round. Which then will come out of here, and we're going to make sure that we've got enough to go back into the building and into that socket. So what I like to do is terminate all this end first, get that all sorted, so it'll make life a lot easier, and then I'm literally done outside. Push that in, seal it, and I'm done outside this bit. So the cable we're using is made by Doncaster Cables and it's Earthshore. So for those of you who don't know what Earthshore is, it is a cable that has got the sleeving already installed onto the actual earthing. It's a brilliant product, saves you time and effectively, which is equally money, isn't it? If it saves you time, means money, and it's not really any more expensive than standard cable, and it's a better product. Okay, so we can pull the rest of that cable back in there, dress that in, and we're all sorted. The good thing about these BG sockets is that gone are the days of having all the tiny little screws that drop out, and we're now onto these much more efficient, quarter of a turn, locks everything in, job's a good one, perfect little outdoor accessory. So we're now going to feed this cable all the way back into the house, and then we can seal it, and then our work out here for a minute is done. Right, so we've pushed the cable in now, so that's actually inside the building, so all that's left to do is to seal it up. So we need to make sure we're completely covering the hole, the entry point in there, and even push it into the actual brickwork as well, and that way you're not going to have any issues with damp or water at a later date. So I'm going to pass that back to Jack now. Cheers, bud. It's nice having Jack here because he can Steve's off doing something else at the minute, so I've got Jack with me cracking on with a few bits and bobs. So on here you'll see that you've got your rubber gasket, which is really, really important to put on as well, because if not, the water is going to seep through the front. What I tend to find is easier, put your screws in first, so the gasket, you know, is definitely in place. So as you tighten up, you can see the gasket gets swelled a little bit, and obviously then that will cover the whole lot, and the lid's on, and time to go inside. So essentially that's the finished product right there. So the client can get his hand in down the side when we push this basically little plastic tool shed back, and nice and straightforward install. Now let's get inside and do the final connections. Okay, so we can clearly see that we've got no power on here, because obviously if we did, that would be a problem and we would get electrocuted, which wouldn't be, well, it wouldn't be entertaining for me, but it'd be entertaining for you, I give you that. So as you can see, we've got our cable come through, so we've knocked out our entry point at the back, so that is gone. Jack's just going to grab the hoover for me, because where we've drilled through there is some dust and stuff in there, as you can see, so it's nice to hoover it all out, make sure it's all clean, and then we can drop a little bit of silicone inside there, just to seal everything up and any drafts or anything coming through, which sounds extreme, but trust me, it does happen. It seeps past. So as you can see that it's a ring, so we've got, what I mean by that, so we've got a cable coming in and a cable coming out. Now we verified that obviously this is a ring final anyway, so we are allowed to put a spur onto there, but then that is it. We're not allowed to then go spur off a spur off a spur like that, because that's not what you do. So Jack's just gone and grab the hoover, we'll hoover that out, and then we'll get this cable terminated back into that socket. Okay, that's all back in place now and wired up, all sealed up as you've just seen. So we now need to just do the testing outside to make sure that everything is all hunky-dory and we're in our ZS values. We now need to turn the power back on. So we've just installed this new RCBO board, which is great because obviously just working on that one circuit doesn't affect anything else in the house other than the one we're actually doing. So we need to re-energise that and then get outside. So all that's left to do now is do our ZS readings. So we are using the Mega X1, which is the multifunction tester. So now we need to jump down here and find out what results we've got after we've now just energised it. I've just left Jack to tidy up inside there, put all the furniture back, and this will be another job complete. It's all switched on, power's on, and let's see what we get. So we've got our ZS reading of 0.38 and a PFC of 0.61. Absolutely spot on. So all I need to do now is left to do with this one is test our RCD. So good. So another job completed. So it's a nice, straightforward, simple job. So if you're looking at getting another outside socket done, hopefully you pick a better day and it's not absolutely hammering it down like this one. And it's the easiest way of sorting that out without having to go with armoured and all the rest of it. Now obviously the client, a perfect situation would be to drill straight through from that socket on the back and mount straight onto there, but obviously with the client, once the client gets in this situation, and another straightforward job ticked off, ready to jump in the van. Right, that's all pushed back, job's a good one. So it's time to me to get back in the van and get out of here. So if you've enjoyed this video and it's been useful to you and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do. The link is in the corner. Like I say, join this fantastic electrical community that we're building, and yes, learn some tips and tricks. If you've got other comments and you want to tell me how you'd have done it, leave it in the comments below. I'm all ears, it doesn't matter to me. I want to make sure there's no egos here. I want to make sure that we all pick the industry up rather than put it down. Okay, so on that note, enjoy, and I'll see you later.